What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ben on Sports. This week with the NFL, or today, not this week. I have 3 episodes this week, one of which is just two. Apologize on that. This is the NFL Weekly Prediction Series. We're going to review Week 5, preview Week 6, just like normal. So without further ado, let's get into it. With Thursday night football from last week, the Rams and the 49ers. While the Rams were technically the home team, as usual, the 49ers seem to have more fans in the building. I feel like that's been the case since they moved into SoFi Stadium. And a thrilling game ending in overtime with the Rams trying to go for it on 4th and 1. Didn't get it. They fumbled inside the goal line late in the game. Rams had every single opportunity to win this game, and the 49ers found a way to pull it out on the road in overtime. Mac Jones with another incredible performance. Is there a quarterback controversy brewing in San Francisco? Well, probably not with the amount of money that Purdy is making, but it certainly is interesting to think about. Mac Jones seems to have revived his career in a lot of aspects in the Bay Area. 49ers winning a close one. This was two good teams. Who did I pick? Well, I'm off to a bad start this week because I picked the Rams. I had been perfect on Thursday Night Football. The Rams had so many chances to win it, and of course, with my bad luck, they couldn't quite pull it out in the end. I start off 0-1. Moving on to the London game at 9:30 on Sunday. Browns had the lead late, and the Vikings do what the Vikings do. They show up in the fourth quarter, barely pick up a win over a Browns team with a rookie quarterback making his first career start. Um, Offense looked a little better, still only scored 17. The Browns, to me, seem like they're struggling to get the 20. Says a lot about their current offensive situation. But the Vikings pick up another win and can finally come home from overseas. I still think they are waiting for the day that Carson Wentz is no longer their starting quarterback. Very up and down, but the important part, as I said, is that they picked up the win. Who did I have winning? I did have the Vikings winning. Panthers and Dolphins. Dolphins were trying to keep some momentum and say, hey, maybe we can get our season back despite all the bad that's happened. They were up 17-0 in the first half. And then the offense forgot how to score for like 5 consecutive possessions. And their defense couldn't stop the run. And Carolina's just like, we're bigger, we're stronger, we're tougher. We're going to run it right at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the Panthers come roaring back to take the lead 2017 in the fourth quarter. Dolphins score a touchdown, leave too much time on the clock. The Panthers win it. Another good thing for the Panthers, they got the pass rush going, recording more sacks in this game than they had the rest of their season combined. Panthers get to their second win. Maybe the Panthers are looking to make a run at a wild card. I don't think they're good enough to do that, but they have some easier games on the schedule. Dolphins, every time you think it can't get worse for them, they find a way to make it worse. Hottest seat in the NFL for a coach. But personally, I think the GM should be on more of a hot seat. Chris Grier is on his third head coach and his third rebuild and still doesn't have a playoff win. I think that's inexcusable from any GM of any team. More on him than Mike McDaniel. But man, that Dolphins franchise is in shambles right now, and proved me wrong for having faith in them because I was wrong. Got this pick wrong. Ravens and Texans, not a lot to say about this one. Ravens on the backup quarterback, and it showed Derrick Henry couldn't get running room without Lamar. It seems like Derrick Henry isn't as good, and it's not anything Derrick Henry's doing wrong. It's just Lamar's makes that whole offense work. And the Texans have a very good defense. The Ravens' defense has been very good. And the Texans, for the first time all season, looked like a really good offense, scoring 44. I believe it's their first time over 30 points all season. I know they had a good game against the Titans, but that is the Titans, and this Ravens team isn't very good. This was to be expected. I did pick the Texans. The Saints and Giants, what an interesting game between young rebuilding teams. Giants were out front early, had too many turnovers in the end. The Saints put it on them, extended the lead late. Saints picked up their first win of the season. And with that, there is only one winless team left. It's the other team in New York. Saints, man, looked finally they're looking a little bit better. Maybe they're not the worst team in the NFL like everybody thinks. I still think against good defenses that offense is really going to struggle, but they picked up a big win at home. Giants, you beat the Chargers one week and then you go on the road and lose to the Saints the next. Seems right for a rebuilding team. Another head coach on the hot seat with Brian Daboll. How many more games can Jackson Dart win for them? Who did I pick? I did have the Saints upsetting the Giants. Eagles and Broncos. Eagles at home, undefeated. They were up 17-3. And then got shut out for such a long time at the end of that game. Couldn't get the offense going. This is a very good Broncos defense, but the Eagles defense couldn't step up. Broncos come all the way back from 17-3 down. If you're asking how they got 18 points, well, remember, they scored a touchdown to make it 17-16, went for 2, got it to get a 1-point lead, and then kicked a field goal. And that's how the score gets to where it is. The Eagles sustaining their first loss of the season. Broncos escaping out of Philly with a come-from-behind 14-point win. Not a good look for the Eagles. The offense is still struggling, in my opinion. They need to figure it out. I did still think they were going to win, however, giving me a wrong prediction. Cowboys and Jets, two teams that probably aren't very good, but the Cowboys still have the best offense in the NFL. This game really wasn't even 15 points close. The Cowboys were up much bigger than that and then kind of coasted, and the Jets scored some late points. Jets still cannot win a game. They are still winless, still not looking very good. Cowboys will go as far as their offense can take them, I think. Maybe their defense improves throughout the season. Maybe it doesn't. Not a whole lot else to say about this one. Just kind of an expected performance. And with that, I did have the Cowboys beating the Jets. Still at Sunday 1 o'clock games, the Colts and the Raiders. And you can tell one team is good and you can tell one team is bad. Colts just putting the belt to the Raiders is maybe the best way to phrase it. Blowing them out at home. Just a plain old butt whipping that the Raiders received. And just Colts dominated in every facet of the game. Not much else to say there. Who did I pick to win? I did pick the Colts. Buccaneers and Seahawks, and what was a fantastic game. Obviously very high scoring. The Bucs seem like they're able to score a lot of points most weeks. Seahawks defense had been playing well. They were at home. Didn't play well in this one. Losing by 3 points. And this game maybe has playoff implications. I don't know. The Bucs should win their division. I don't know if the Seahawks will or not. But definitely two teams that are thinking they're playoff teams. And the Seahawks coming away with the win. Sam Darnold was able to score, which I'm not going to be fooled from last season. I do eventually think they're going to hit a rough patch with him. Looked good in this game. It was the defense, maybe the more unexpected thing that let the Seahawks down. And it feels like those Bucs on offense, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are so deep. They have injuries. Doesn't matter. They still find a way to score points. Baker Mayfield looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL to start the season. And the Bucs go into Seattle and pick up a win. Who did I have? I did have the Bucs in a battle of good teams. Moving on to the Cardinals and the Titans. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you guys. I picked the Cardinals like most sane people. The Titans pick up their first win of the season. Should this game count, guys? The way the Cardinals lost this game is absolutely ridiculous. They were up 21-6 in the fourth quarter. With 12 minutes left, they go on a long 71-yard rush. And for the second week in a row, while celebrating a touchdown, somebody lets go of the ball before they cross the goal line, and it turns into a touchback. So instead of the Cardinals being up 28-6, they are now up 21-6, and the Titans have the ball back, and then they score. And then there's the interception. The Titans had driven all the way down the field. Cardinals pick it off on the 5-yard line. They try and return it. Fumble. And it fumbles off of a player into the end zone where the Titans recover for a touchdown. That's absolute madness. Two incredibly fluky plays. The Cardinals were dominating on game. They were clearly the better team. And just too many stupid mistakes. Too many weird fluky plays happen. And the Titans find themselves winning the game by 1 point. Again, I picked it wrong. That's just a crazy game. Titans took advantage, but the Cardinals, man, They should be blowing more of these teams out. They let the Saints back in the game late. They let the Titans back in the game late. There was another team I can't remember. The Cardinals have got to be able to finish off games. That was a hideous look. So bad their coach getting a $100K fine for accosting a player. But wow, what an ugly game that the Cardinals, in my opinion, just kind of gave away. And as I said, I did pick them, so that is a loss for me. One of the worst luck losses I've ever had since I started doing this on this channel. Commanders and Chargers. The Chargers get up early at home. They're feeling good. They're looking good. And then the Commanders come out and dominate the rest of the game. And it's not even a question if they're going to win. Chargers still struggling offensively with a lot of members, with a lot of guys out hurt. Chargers now have Najee Harris out, who never missed a game in his NFL career, out for the season. And he's another guy, their rookie running back, Omarion Hampton, gets hurt during this game and is now on IR, somebody who never missed a game in college. So the Chargers are getting some bad injury luck. They have it on the offensive line. They have it in their backfield, even their defense. That's why they make a trade that I'll talk about a little bit later. And now the Chargers need to rebound from these early losses. They need to rebound from these injuries. Commanders did a good job going on the road, getting down early, and coming back with a big win. I still did have the Chargers. I thought they were going to be good enough defensively and have enough on offense to be okay. They did not. They let the early lead slip. Give me a loss. Bengals and the Lions. Again, I think this is another one where the score is closer than the game was, and the score is still 13 points. Bengals scored. We're getting blown out in the fourth quarter and scored some points late. How much does that really count? Well, if you're in fantasy, then it's a good thing. But outside of that, Lions beat up on the Bengals, who, again, still on a backup quarterback with Joe Burrow out for an extended period of time. Not much else to say. I mean, you can tell it's a team that has Super Bowl aspirations against a team that doesn't have a great defense, doesn't have a great offensive line, and is on their backup quarterback. Bengals losing this one, and Bengals better hope Joe Flacco gives them some juice until Joe Burrow can get back, or they are going to be in trouble. Who did I pick? I did pick the Lions. Sunday Night Football. Guys, stop telling me to use my brain. Let me use my gut on these picks. Let me use my vibes for these picks, because if you remember last week when we were sitting here listening, talking, and I said, hey, the Patriots are really good. They're getting better and better. They have a good head coach. Drake May is an absolute wagon, best quarterback from his draft class. This game is going to be super tight. The Bills have injuries on defense. But my mind says the Bills should still win this game. It's not quite time for the Patriots to take over, and maybe they still aren't. And, of course, the Patriots win, kicking a last-second field goal. It was a very good game. It was tight the whole way. Bills just had too many injuries to overcome. Josh Allen, the last couple weeks, hasn't been the Josh Allen that we're used to. Maybe going through a little bit of a cold stretch. He's going to need to wake up, especially with all the injuries on the defensive side. Josh Allen needs to step up and carry this team. The offense needs to carry this team. Weren't quite able to do it. Patriots go into Buffalo and get a huge win by 3 points. Now the Patriots are only a game back, and all of a sudden this division could be close between these two teams, because the Patriots finished fourth last year, so they have a fourth-place schedule, and there's a lot of gimme games if they can keep the momentum up. Maybe this is a changing of the guard. Maybe it's not, but the Mike Vrabel, Drake May connection, I think, could lead to another decade of success for the Patriots. But Josh Allen and the Bills are probably still the team to beat. Again, a lot of injuries. I don't think Josh Allen's going to continue to play as poorly as he has. Not that he's been sucked, but he hasn't been Josh Allen, the MVP from last season level either. A return to that for the Bills will do wonders. Very, very interesting close game. I did pick the Bills. I wanted to pick the Patriots, but I couldn't. So I picked the Bills. I'm like, it's not quite time, and it cost me, so always follow your gut. When I follow my gut, I do better than when I don't. I have to start doing it. Patriots beat the Bills. Moving to Monday Night Football, I said, I think the Chiefs know that they have to start winning games. The Chiefs should be in it. The Jaguars are good. They've won some games, but I don't think they can beat the Chiefs yet. Maybe the Chiefs just aren't very good, or maybe the Jaguars are that good. I don't know. Trevor Lawrence with a crazy play, tripping multiple times and then still running it into the end zone on the game-winning touchdown. Patrick Mahomes with a 99-yard pick six thrown by him. All kinds of crazy stuff happening in this game. It was definitely an interesting one. And it ended with the Jaguars winning by 3 points on a failed Hail Mary attempt late in the game by the Chiefs. Jaguars looking really good. Chiefs fall to 2-3 on the year, and aren't quite in trouble yet. The AFC is absolutely insane this year. I'm still after 5 weeks and still not confident that the good teams are good and the bad teams are bad, or some measure of that. I still think that there's so much unknown about the AFC, and that the AFC is absolute chaos so far this year. And I think it's showing in some of the picking results, as I picked up another loss because I picked the Chiefs to win this game. And as you can see, that leaves me with a 7-7 record, the worst week I have had picking games, like ever. A terrible week for me. And guys, I think if I don't get it turned around in week 6, it might be time to give up. I am so far behind pace. I'm off to such an awful start that 204 win, 75% games correct looks very unlikely. Remember, last year I started off slow and then did really, really well for the second half of the year and still only got 192. I'm going to have to go a lot of really good weeks where it just doesn't seem doable. And I think this week being my worst week ever might be the nail in the coffin. I'm still going to rebound. I'm still going to try and beat last year's 192 wins and get to that 70% mark. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a battle. I apologize for sucking so bad. Maybe I need to write an apology letter out on Twitter and post it out on Twitter. Show you guys it next episode. Put it in the comments if you think I need to write an apology letter for sucking so bad. Because this week and last week especially, I have been terrible. And I need to get it turned around. So whatever you guys in the comments think will get the mojo turned around, make sure you let me know. Because this is not acceptable. With that being said, I did some extra research, more than I have for other weeks, and I'm going to hope it leads to good things. So let's get into making the week 6 picks. Thursday night football, 8:15 from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's the divisional rivalry between the Giants and the Eagles. And the Philadelphia Eagles are 7.5-point favorites. Let's get into it. If you're the Giants, you need to keep Dart upright against a pretty good D-line. I know the Eagles' defense and defense line maybe isn't the same as it was last year, but it's still pretty darn good. Keep Jackson Dart upright. He's making his 3rd career start, and this is the best team I think he's faced. Need to keep him upright. You need to take away the rushing offense from the Eagles. The Eagles this year have had one of the worst passing offenses in the entire league, despite having some great weapons in the pass game. But they like to run the ball. So take away the rush offense. Make them throw the ball. Make them do the thing that they have struggled doing most of this year. And maybe you can get enough stops, because you can't get into a shootout with a good defense, a confusing defense from Vic Fangio. You don't want to have Jackson Dart have to go out there and score 30-something points to win this game. So don't get in a shootout and try and take away the rush offense. If you are the Philadelphia Eagles, figure out why the offense is struggling. Maybe you need to sit back and just pass all week this week and try and get something going with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Maybe it's just you just need to say, screw it, we're going to just go heavy formation and run the ball at them. I don't know what it is, but they need to figure out whether the offense is struggling, because an Eagles offense with that many weapons should not be that bad, especially with good offensive line play. Get A.J. Brown involved. He only has one good week this year, and for how much you're paying him, for the caliber of receiver he is, it's absolutely ridiculous for him not to be having a better season. Find ways to call plays for him early. Try and get A.J. Brown involved, because this isn't the best Giants defense they're playing against either. And make Dart have to beat you with pressure. Make Dart have to beat you in the passing game and get pressure on him. Keep guys in his face. Make him have to make quick decisions, and make Dart be the guy to beat you, not the run game. And I think you'll be successful. I think the Eagles are going to be mad after losing and choking a game away at home last week. I think they're going to come into this game prepared, ready to prove a point, and I think they do it. I think the defense shows up, I think the offense shows up, and I think the Eagles have a decent size victory. Give me the Eagles on the road this week. Another international game from London in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Denver is playing New York, the Jets and the Broncos. 6.5-point favorites are the Broncos. Let's get into it. Jets, you cannot commit penalties. They keep committing penalties. It has killed them in every game. They have to learn discipline, and they have to get it quick, or they're going to continue to have an incredibly rough year. Develop more options than Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, I feel like, is like their main only guy in the pass game. They have to get other weapons involved. You can't just let Patrick Surtain sit on Garrett Wilson. You can't let him shade towards Garrett Wilson. You have to find other threats. And in the run game, or even if it's the short passing game, find other ways to get Breece Hall involved. Find other people to get involved. You can't be limited weapons. You have to have multiple guys that can beat you on offense, or the defense will not respect you. And if you're the Jets, take away the Broncos' run game. The Jets have had decent success with their interior, but they're going to need to be on it against the Broncos. If they can take away the run, I think they can get enough stops where there won't be too much pressure on their offense. If you're the Broncos, force mistakes. This Jets team loves to make mistakes. They'll turn the ball over. They'll commit penalties. You have an elite defense. Force mistakes. Score 30 this week. The Jets have given up 30 in almost every game this season. It might be every game this season. So score 30 on them. Make their offense have to score, because their offense does not seem comfortable doing it. And stop the quarterback run game / keep Fields in the pocket. Fields does have a good arm and does have good throws, but I still would rather keep him in the pocket, put pressure on him, and not let him use his legs to escape and go on long runs and everything. Keep him in the pocket, make him beat you with the arm, keep pressure in his face, collapse, maintain gap integrity, and I think this is going to be a rough day for the Jets offense. Give me the Broncos to win this one in somewhat handily. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, an old NFC North battle with a total of just 38.5. Pittsburgh 6.5-point favorites at home, coming off of a bye week. Let's get into the keys. If you're Pittsburgh, make Gabriel feel the defense. You have a good defense. You have an elite pass rusher. This Browns offense has not been very good. Get in the rookie quarterback making his second career start on the road against a rival. Make him panic. Make him feel the pressure. Also, if you're the Steelers, you're going against one of the best defenses in the league in the Browns. Even against good offenses, the Browns have been able to slow down and limit points. Be efficient. Stay ahead of the chains. If this Browns defense is going to give you the 5-yard route, take it. Allow Aaron Rodgers to be efficient and keep it simple. You don't want to be behind the sticks with this pass rush. You don't want to be trying to do too much against this good defense. And then dominate time of possession and wear out the Browns defense. The Browns defense has been very good this year, but there's been some games where they're excellent in the first half, but because their offense is so bad, the defense gets worn out. So if you're the Steelers, dominate time of possession. Just tick, 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 tick. Force 3 and outs on the other end. Dominate time of possession and wear out that defense so by the fourth quarter they're absolutely gassed and you can move the ball at will. If you're the Browns, continue dominating defense. Their defense has kept them in so many games this season. The defense needs to continue to be great. It needs to continue to be dominant, because the Browns offense, I still don't think, is to the point where they're going to score too many points. They need to find what worked last week. Find success from what worked last week with Dillon Gabriel against a good Vikings defense and build on those successes. Maybe get your young rookie running back involved. He seemed pretty good last week too. And then stay balanced on offense. Don't rely too much on the run. Don't rely too much on the pass. Keep the defense on their toes. Kind of like the Steelers need to do. Stay efficient. Stay ahead of the sticks. Don't make the game too complicated. I do think this game is going to be maybe closer than people realize. These two teams are always playing close games no matter what the situation is. Neither of these teams like each other. It's AFC North football. I still think the Steelers have just a little bit more are a little bit more of a sure thing on offense, and I think because of that, the Steelers eke out a win over the Browns this week. Sunday, 1 o'clock, New England traveling down to the Superdome to face the Saints, where they are 3.5-point favorites. The Saints need to find a way to make Drake May uncomfortable. Drake May's been cooking. I think he's gotten better every game that they play, getting more and more comfortable. Him and Stephon Diggs, maybe it was just because Stephon Diggs is still mad at the Bills. Maybe it's not. But whatever the reason is, it seems like they found each other a lot last week. They need to keep that relationship up. So find ways to make May uncomfortable because he's getting better every single game. And the defense might be able to do it. Run the ball first, use clock. The best way to keep May from cooking, keep him off the field, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. I still don't think the Saints have very good quarterback play. And when you don't have good quarterback play, you need to be able to run it. The problem is this Patriots rushing defense is pretty good as well. And build on success. You just got your first win at home last week. You were able to move the ball as an offense where you struggled to do so sometimes. Just continue to build on success. I think that's sometimes the best thing you can do as a team. If you found success in 1 week, figure out why you were successful and continue to implement and build on the things that did that. And by the end of the season, you should have, so much knowledge on what you need to do to win a game and continue to implement that going into the next season, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. For the Saints, it's no different going into this game. If you're the Patriots, let Drake May continue to shine. Let him keep cooking with Stephon Diggs or whoever it needs to be. He likes his tight ends there too. Just let Drake May continue to shine because we are seeing a young player blossom right now, and it looks like May could be another great quarterback for the Patriots. It's still early, but I'm just saying, ride the hot wave. And for the Patriots, stop the run game. For all the reasons I said the Saints want to get the run game going, the Patriots should want to stop it. Make Spencer Rattler have to be the guy to beat you because I don't think he's going to be that guy very frequently. And stay balanced offensively. While May has been cooking, you have a trio of running backs you like to use, even though one is clearly better than the rest, I think, and it may or may not be the rookie. Stay balanced offensively. Don't make May have to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. Get the run game going. Get the play action going. Stay balanced. Stay on schedule as well. I think the Patriots do that. I do think this is a little bit of a letdown game. They just had a big win on the road, and now they're going to a team that they think they should probably beat. And this still is a young team, but Vrabel's a good head coach. I think the Saints keep this one closer maybe than people realize, at least for a little bit. But I do think in the end, the Patriots will win this game. Ravens and Rams, and what has been a good game the last couple of times they've seen each other. 1 o'clock at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, and the Rams are 7.5-point favorites. That rarely happens to the Ravens at home. Let's dive into it. Ravens, again, no reason not to feature Henry. I know you're still on a backup. I know that Lamar helps the run game and is obviously your best option in the pass game. Have to figure out a way to get Derrick Henry going, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's trickery, figure out something. And the defense flat out needs to be tougher. This Ravens defense isn't really stopping the run very well. It's not stopping the pass very well. It's giving up a lot of points. The defense just needs to be tougher. They need to be better. It's been embarrassing in a lot of ways for the Ravens, and I'm sure there's a lot of Ravens defense veterans that are not too happy about it. Defense needs to be tougher because this Rams offense will put up a bunch of points if they aren't. And also, it's most likely that they're going to be without Lamar Jackson. Maybe get some special packages for a backup ready. There's rumors that maybe Tyler Huntley gets thrown out there. Maybe get some special parts of the playbook open and be ready to throw some trickery or something like that out there. The Ravens still only have one win this season, and I know Lamar's hurt, but you don't want to be too far back that you can't make a run with Lamar. I know this is a tough game, but you are at home. Maybe you get some, again, maybe you can find a way to get the backup involved in ways that aren't on the scouting report. Maybe that's your best opportunity. Still working from behind the 8 ball for the Ravens offense, though. And if you're the Rams, Puka. The Ravens defense hasn't stopped anybody. Puka Nacua ought to go out there and have a good day. Puka Nacua is lighting up the stats this season early on, and I see no reason for it to slow down in this one either. Find him early, find him often, let him keep gunning for what feels like a triple crown win this year in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Off to a hot start. Let's see if he can keep it up. Score, score, score. This Ravens defense has given up a lot of points. There's a theme here. The Rams offense can score. Score a whole bunch of points and make that backup quarterback feel absolutely helpless out there, because you know this Ravens team is going to want to slow it down, make it ugly and low scoring. If you score a whole bunch, the Ravens could be out of this one early and make the offense have to put the ball in the air. Derrick Henry is the best weapon on that offense, especially with Lamar Jackson out. Don't let Derrick Henry be the reason why they score. Don't let him be the reason why they get yards. The Rams' rush defense is pretty good. Take away Derrick Henry. Make a backup quarterback have to throw for 300 yards to beat you. I think the Rams will be able to do most of this. Maybe the Ravens hang around for a little bit after getting embarrassed last week, but I already think there's some stuff going on with the Ravens this year. I'm not going to say it's impossible for them to turn it around. They're not that far back of the division lead, but I don't think the time is now. I think the Rams rebound from last week, and the Rams pick up the win in this one. Another 1 o'clock game, and finally a top 5 game of the week. There's not a lot of great games, and really the Cardinals haven't been that good, but I'm going to go ahead and get this top 5 game of the week because it's an okay team against a really good team. Indianapolis is still 6.5-point favorites at home, but I try and give you 5 games every week. This is probably the 5th one. There's just not a lot of good ones because there's so many injuries in the NFL right now. Let's get into the keys. The Colts continue to run the ball. They run the ball really well, makes life easier on Daniel Jones, makes it harder for teams to mount momentum because they just have a great offensive line. They run it really well and take time off the clock, wear down defenses. They need to continue to force turnovers. They've been really good at that. One of the best teams in the NFL at forcing turnovers. You run the ball well and force turnovers, you're going to be a hard team to beat. Says a lot about the Colts this season, doesn't it? They also need to keep Kyler Murray under pressure. This Cardinals offense is so hot and cold. I think if you keep Murray in the pocket, you keep Murray under pressure, I think he's going to give you the ball a couple times, and you're already so good at forcing turnovers. They keep doing that and running the ball well. The Colts could win this one easily and continue to be successful, and they've won a lot of games in blowout fashion this year. If you're the Cardinals, you need to have front 7 dominance. Their front 7's been pretty good most of the year. This Colts team has a great offensive line. You have to find a way to assert yourself in the front 7 and stop the run game. Daniel Jones is having a good season, but I think if you can make the Colts, which I don't think really anybody has done this year, but if you can make the Colts a pass-first team, a pass-only team, take away the run game, I think you can get them, and I think you can get Daniel Jones to struggle. So this Cardinals team is going to have to find a way to find front 7 dominance. Don't stop playing. I feel like there's so many times this year where the Cardinals, they either come out flat and then they have to catch up, or they get up late and then they just stop playing in the fourth quarter. They need to put together 4 quarters of football and stop just playing halves or quarters or whatever. And I think they'll be much more successful. Who would have thought playing 4 quarters makes you better? And they need to be smart and eliminate simple mistakes. There's been a couple of games this year where they make silly mistakes. Last game, I already talked about it, is no exception. A lot of silly mistakes in a game that should have been a blowout win. Be smart, eliminate mistakes, or you're never going to beat the good teams in this league. And if the Cardinals want to have any chance this week, they're going to have to do it. However, I don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to do it this week. I'm going to give it to the Colts. Usually, West Coast teams coming to the East Coast is still sometimes a hard thing. I think the Cardinals last week was heartbreaking. I don't think they get the rebound this week. Colts have been so good at home. Indianapolis taking home the W. Another West Coast team coming to the East Coast, but they are still 3.5-point favorites, with the Chargers coming to Miami to play the Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium at 1 o'clock. Let's get into it. If you're the Dolphins, show up defensively and act like you care. The Dolphins' defense, was just really tough on the Ravens' defense. The Dolphins' defense is right there with them. They've been really bad, really struggling. They can't stop the run at all. The passing defense has gotten a little bit better. They're finally starting to force turnovers because they didn't the first 3 games of the season. But this defense, especially in the run game, act like you care. There's just no gap integrity. It looks really, really bad. And they're so similar to the Ravens defense with just how awful they've looked. At some point, you have to be a man. At some point, you have to say, I am paid to play professional football, and this team was expected to be much better than it is right now. I have some pride. And if you're the Dolphins, that's the first thing you need to do. Show some pride, act like you care, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They need to have a consistent run game to take pressure off of Tua. The Chargers made a big trade getting a pass rusher from the Ravens in Awe. And against a bad Miami Dolphins offensive line, that could help the Chargers recoup some of their injury losses. But a consistent run game, they didn't have it last week. That's why their offense sputtered out. They couldn't run the ball, and then the Panthers took away the pass game for the middle part of the game, and the offense just sputtered out for the Dolphins. They need a consistent run game because the offenses look much better when they do have it. If they don't have it, this Chargers defense still has some good pieces. It's going to be a long day for the Dolphins offense. And again, and part of this is the run game. Part of it, I think, is Tua. I still think they're throwing too many bubble screens and too many throws behind the line of scrimmage. I think there's a variety of things, whether it's a bad offensive line, whether it's an extension of the run game that's struggling, whether it's Tua, I think there's a lot of things, but I think they throw way too many bubble screens and they throw it behind the line of scrimmage too much. And I think it gives them a lot of negative plays. The offense is going to have to be a more typical offense, get the ball down the field and run first. For a team that's not doing a whole lot right in Miami. If you are the Chargers, make life easier on banged up offensive line. They are making a switch. Maybe that helps the Chargers. But you have to find a way to do it. This defensive line does make a lot of offensive lines look good, though. So maybe they can take advantage of this weak defensive line and use it for momentum going forward. Run regardless, whoever the third and fourth string is. Kind of what I was just talking about. This defensive line is so bad. Rico Dowdle, just not anything against Rico Dowdle. He's shown flashes of being a good running back, but he's never been a starter anywhere for a reason, right? And he just ran for over 200 on this Miami Dolphins defensive line. That tells me, regardless of who that third and fourth string are for the Chargers, they should be able to find some running room. And then on defense, if the Chargers can live in the backfield in the run game, in the pass game, much like the Panthers defense did for good portions of that game last week, it's going to be a long day for Miami. Maybe this game stays close for a little bit, but even with all the Chargers injuries, Miami's team is just not playing good. The worst part of their team is the trenches, and that's the most important part of this game, and it's hard to win with bad trenches. I think even with the injuries, the Chargers trenches show up here. They show out. Maybe it's closer early, but I think eventually the Chargers will assert their dominance. Give me the Chargers to win this game. Another 1 o'clock game, maybe one of the best games of the week, maybe the best game. Jacksonville, 1.5 favorite at home over the Seahawks at 1 o'clock. Man, a lot of West Coast teams traveling to the East Coast for 1 o'clock games. That'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Let's get into this one, maybe the best game of the week. Probably wouldn't have seen that one coming at the beginning of the season. If you are the Jaguars, keep spreading the ball around in the pass game. I think that's been so helpful. The defenses can't key on one guy. When you throw it to Brian Thomas Jr. for a couple times, you throw it at Travis Hunter a time or two, you get it to the running back out of the backfield, you get it to your tight ends, and you go get De'Ami Brown. They are just spreading the ball around so well in the pass game. Just keep taking what the defense gives you. Don't try and force feed people if it's not there. I really, really like that aspect of the Jaguars offense so far. Get to Sam Darnold. I know that they have some injuries, but I think they should still be relatively healthy on that defensive line. Get to Sam Darnold. Get pressure. See if you can force some turnovers because, as my last point is, can they sustain the turnover rate? They're forcing a lot of turnovers against good teams, and I think that's really the main reason why they're winning these games is because they're so good at forcing turnovers. If you can sustain that turnover rate and can keep getting pressure on the quarterback, I think that's their key to winning games this year. And if you're the Seahawks, you have to have O-line play. You can't let this Jaguars front stop the run. You can't let this Jaguars front get to the quarterback. You have to keep Darnold comfortable. Make Lawrence confused and scared. I think Lawrence has been playing well, but he's also shown the ability this season, last season, the season before that, to have really bad games. He can sometimes be a little bit up and down. The Seattle defense minus last week has been really, really good, and it's coming from a defensive head coach. See if you can confuse Lawrence. See if you can make him scared. Get to him. Make him feel you. And if they can do that, I think that they could make the Jaguars' offense have a rough day. And then keep the chemistry between your quarterback and wide receiver one cooking. I said it last week. I think it's so important when you have a hot hand, when you're hot like that, keep calling plays and finding ways to get him involved, because that connection seems to be scoring a lot of points for the Seahawks offense. All week I've been on the Seahawks to win this game. I still think their ceiling is higher than the Jaguars' ceiling, but I also just looked at the injury report, and the Seahawks injury report does not look good. I really do think the Seahawks are the better team, and I think the Seahawks should be favored in this game, even though they're the road team. But I'm going to pick the Jaguars solely because they're really dealing with some injuries right now on the defensive side of the ball. And I think Jacksonville will have an advantage being at home at 1 o'clock. I don't love it. I think the rest of the way, the Seahawks will be the better team. And I know what I just said, all that about picking with your gut. I'm going to go against that just this one time and pick the Jaguars, even though I don't love it. Another 1 o'clock game. Full of silver, the Panthers and the Cowboys both coming off of wins. Cowboys 3.5 point favorites in Charlotte. Let's get into the keys of the game. If you're the Panthers, can the run game continue to be good? It makes Bryce Young's life a heck of a lot easier if the Panthers can keep running the ball as well as they did last week. I know that Miami defense is atrocious at stopping the run. Like, they're worse in the NFL by a mile. But if you can still build on that success against another not great defense in the Cowboys, it would do a lot of good things for your team. Continue to find pass rush success. This Cowboys offense is really, really good so far this season. One way to stop a good offense is a good pass rush. The Panthers had struggled all year, and then last week they got more sacks in one game than they had the entire year going into it. Maybe all Miami's offensive line is bad, and that's just a flash in the pan. Maybe the Panthers can find some things they did well, because they need to build on that success this week to have a chance. And Bryce Young has to be mistake-free. I feel like Bryce Young always makes 1 or 2, sometimes even 3 big mistakes in a game. You can't make mistakes because this Cowboys offense will punish you. He has to be mistake-free, and he has to help his defense out because this Cowboys offense can and will score. And if you're the Cowboys, continue to score a lot. I still don't think this Panthers team wants to win in shootouts, even though they have a couple high-scoring games this season. Score a lot. Make them have to score a whole bunch in response. Force turnovers against an offense that has given some of them in a lot of games this year. Make it life easier on your offense. It's so hard to if you can force turnovers and score off of them. It's so hard for the other team to come back from that. So try and force turnovers, especially with your up and down defense, because this offense likes to give them sometimes. And defense needs to play a whole game. I think most games the Cowboys defense hasn't showed up. In the games where it has, it's maybe just a half of the game. They need to play a complete game this week, show that they can play 4 quarters of good defense, and just help and prove that they can help the offense out going forward, especially because this is not really that great of an offense, in my opinion. Who do I think win? I think the Cowboys score enough to win, and I don't think nothing else will matter a whole bunch. The toilet bowl game of the week, the Raiders and the Titans. Raiders 4.5 point favorites at home in Allegiant Stadium. Let's get into the keys. Raiders keep Ashawn Jeanty hot, especially because of point number 2 here. Geno mistakes, they got to limit them. Even if it's simplifying the offense, Geno Smith, I think, has 3 interception games this year. Geno Smith is a lot of turnovers. You have Ashawn Jeanty. He's had some good games. He's starting to find a groove. Keep Ashawn Jeanty hot and be a run-first offense, because I think right now that's the best hope you have at scoring points. And then take something away from a bad offense. Don't let them have the run in the pass. And really, at this point, you might want to make them a run-first team, because Cam Ward seems like he's starting to gain some momentum and swagger as a quarterback. Maybe you should make them have to run the ball against an okay interior line. Not really good, but just take away something from the Titans and don't give them everything on offense. If you're the Titans, you need touchdowns, not field goals. There's so many games this year where they can move the ball a little bit, but then they end up kicking field goals. They need to find a way to get touchdowns instead of field goals. 7 points instead of 3 is massive. Remember, 3 touchdowns is the same as 7 field goals, so you're not really going to get a chance to kick 7 field goals and 7 offensive opportunities in most games. So score touchdowns. It gets there much faster. Gets your score up much faster. Take away the run game with how bad Geno Smith has been. You know they're going to want to hand it off to Genty. You know they're going to want to let Genty carry the offense, make Geno Smith have to beat you, and then try and force mistakes, which is point number 3, force turnovers from this Raiders offense. Who do I have winning this game? I do think the Raiders get back on their feet, but I think this could be an all-time toilet bowl game. I think this could be an all-time ugly game. I'm very interested to see 2 of the best players in college football go against it at the next level. There's a reason why they got picked by the teams they did high in the draft. It's because those teams weren't very good. Give me the Raiders to win a narrow one. Another 4 o'clock game. This probably is the game of the week here. You see I marked it as a top 5 game of the week. Buccaneers hosting the 49ers, where the Bucs are 2.5-point home favorites. If you're the Bucs, continue to use skill possession depth. I said it last week that I was banged up at running back at wide receiver, but they have plenty of depth there. They used it to the tune of 38 points last week. They're going to have to do it again against the good defense. Score 30+. This Niners offense is cooking. They've been scoring. But your offense is really good too, one of the best in the NFL. Score a whole bunch of points. Try and make life easier for your defense, trying to stop a good offense. And just for your defense, just get enough stops. This Bucs defense, I think, has the ability to be good. I think right now it's just kind of average. I think San Francisco should be able to move the ball against them. Unless Mac Jones decides to come back to earth and be the Mac Jones he's been most of his career, then this game turns into a blowout. But the 49ers have been able to move it pretty well. They were able to move it last week against a good defense. Just get enough stops where your offense can carry you to the win. If you're the 49ers, run the ball first and build on Mac Jones' success. I still think this needs to be a run-first team. I still think Shanahan wants to be a run-first team. But that sets up Mac Jones to be successful and takes pressure off of his shoulders. They need to do points 1 and 2 here. And the pass defense has to show up against this Bucs team with injuries. Look, yeah, they may the Bucs are still getting a little bit healthier and they may have some injuries. You can't take that for granted. Pass defense has to show up. This is a really good San Francisco pass defense, and it has to prove it this week. Who do I think wins this game? I think the Bucs get it done at home, but I think this could be an absolute thriller and a really fun, close, exciting game. Another 4 o'clock game. The Packers, 14.5-point favorites at home against the Bengals, and Joe Flacco being the new man on campus there. If you're the Packers, you're playing a bad defense. Let the offense cook. This Packers offense, I think, has been a little bit hot and cold, up and down through different games this season. Let's get the offense back on track. Let's get the offense cooking, coming out of this bye week against the bad defense. Score a boatload of points. Get defense back on track against new quarterback. Look, Joe Flacco, absolute vet. He's a Super Bowl winner. Still has some good performances left. Still has some bad ones left too. I know that this Bengals passing game has 2 really good wide receivers. But if you're the Packers, how much of the playbook do you think Joe Flacco was going to know getting traded midweek for a Sunday game? Probably not a whole lot. You have to take advantage of that, get the defense back on track, because your defense can't be giving up 40 points like it did against Dallas a couple weeks ago. Green Bay just needs a consistent defense. I think this Green Bay team needs a little bit more consistency on both sides of the ball, because I think at their ceiling, they're really good. They just haven't lived up to it all the time. And make Bengals have to beat you in the run game. This Bengals rush offense has been really, really bad, regardless of who's at quarterback. Very low yards per carry. They struggle a lot. Make the Bengals have to beat you in the run game. Worst case scenario for them, Flacco can throw a deep ball and Chase and Higgins can go up and get it. Don't let them get comfortable doing that. Don't even let them have a chance at it. Just completely shut down the pass game and make a struggling rush offense have to beat you. Does Flacco have another one last ride? I keep on feeling like I see Flacco have one last ride type of games and one last ride stretches. Does he have another one in him where he can propel this Bengals offense to be good enough to go on a streak? Maybe. Try and establish run. You have a veteran quarterback who can make good decisions. It doesn't matter who's back there, though. With this bad offensive line, if guys can just pin their ears back and get after the quarterback, it's going to be ugly. The Bengals have to find a way to establish the run game to kind of tamp down that pressure. And defense needs to not give up 30. This defense gives up a lot of points. It's not that good. The defense has to, with a new quarterback and an offense struggling in general, struggling to run, the defense has to find a way to hold this Packers offense down because the Bengals can't win a shootout, I don't think, this week. And Joe Burrow isn't there to help them do so. Who do I think win this game? I think the Packers win. What a shocker, a 14.5-point favorite winning a game. Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs, 2.5-point favorites at home against the Lions. Tell me if I'm crazy. Is it not weird that the Lions aren't favored in this game? The Lions have looked like the better team over the Chiefs all season. I know the Chiefs have been to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. They've been like the best franchise in the NFL, arguably, over the last 5 to 7 years. But this year they haven't been that good. And the Lions have. If you're the Chiefs, keep dynamic offensive approach. I think they moved the ball pretty well against the Jaguars. If they don't have that 99-yard pick six, they probably win that game. I think they're spreading it around. They have a trio of running backs and they find a way to get them all involved. They have Patrick Mahomes throws the ball around to all different kinds of receivers. Keep that dynamic approach. Keep the dynamic play calling going. I think that's how this offense needs to operate because I don't love their offensive line. Eliminate stupid mistakes. They commit a lot of penalties. Mahomes has to know not to throw interceptions. They need to eliminate stupid mistakes because even good teams have a hard time coming back from them consistently. And defense needs to get it figured out. I think this defense is giving up more points and more yards than it normally does and than it has in recent history. I feel like they're a little bit stagnant. Defense needs to get it figured out because the Lions can and will score a lot of points on you. If you're the Lions, run the dang ball. This Chiefs run defense has not been good this season. Your run can set up your pass. You have 2 good running backs. Run the dang ball. Put pressure on a struggling offensive line. This Lions defense is pretty good. They have a pretty good pass rush to put pressure on this offensive line that's struggling. Make them commit holding penalties. Make them give up sacks. And find playmakers on offense. Defense can't take them all away. The Chiefs defense, again, has been good in a lot recently. It hasn't been great to start the season. They've been a little bit better against the pass, but I don't think the Chiefs have the horses to shut down all of the playmakers the Lions have because they have a lot of them. Find which ones the Chiefs want to take away and just use the other ones and let them have big games. Who do I think wins this one? I think the Lions win this one, and I am still shocked that the Lions were not favored in this game. But Vegas knows best. Am I right? And a Monday Night Football doubleheader this week. This is another iffy top 5 game of the week, but I went ahead and did it because I was having a hard time finding them. The first game at 7:15 on Monday Night Football in Atlanta. Buffalo was 4.5-point favorites on the road. If you're the Falcons, run the ball with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Allgeier. You have a good running back duo. You have an inexperienced quarterback who's been up and down. Run the ball. This Bills pass defense has been better than the Bills rush defense. They've been giving up a lot of yards. They're still hurt up the middle as well. Run the ball first. Use it to set up the pass. You need to keep Josh Allen in the pocket against a good pass defense. This Atlanta pass defense has been really, really good. Keep Allen in the pocket. Don't let him create with his legs. Don't let him create off script. Keep him in the pocket and try and collapse on him to get sacks. Make him throw the ball away. Use the fact that you have a good pass defense to your advantage and keep it simple for Penix. Again, Penix has been so up and down. You don't want to ask him to have to go out there and win games yet. So keep it simple. Be a run-first team this week. If you're the Bills, Josh Allen flat out needs to be better. In the last 2 games, I don't think he's performed up to his caliber, his MVP caliber. I feel like they've been a run-first offense. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but Allen needs to have oh my gosh, Josh Allen is back game because since the first week, he really hasn't. Josh Allen needs to be better. That's point number 1. Make Penix make mistakes. He's proven he'll turn the ball over to you. Make Penix make mistakes and continue feeding James Cook. That's been when their offense has been most successful. You need Josh Allen to turn it around. But Let James Cook be the superstar that he was the first month of the season. While I think this game could be close down to the wire, especially because one team's playing better going into this game, one team's playing worse, I do think the Bills maybe get some players back on the defensive side. I don't think the Bills are going to lose 2 in a row, especially not 2 games that they're favored. I think the Bills bounce back in a closer than expected game. And the last game of the week, Monday Night Football in, I was going to say the nation's capital, but they're still playing in the suburbs in Maryland. They are 4.5-point favorites against the Chicago Bears, last year's number 1 and number 2 picks going at it. Keys to the game for the Commanders: keep Daniels healthy. I still think he's not 100%. You don't want him to keep getting hits. Keep Daniels healthy because that is the key to your team. Take away the passing game. This, which sounds funny because the Commanders' passing defense is better than their rushing defense, but the Bears probably are a better pass team than they are a run team. So make the Bears do what they've struggled with most of the season, and maybe your run defense can get it turned around too. And I think they have to throw the ball better. While this Commanders team, run it as much as you can, always establish the run, but this passing offense has not been that good. They have to find a way to throw it better / more, even if it's maybe developing a quick passing game. When they play against really good teams, they're going to need to be able to run and pass, and the passing offense has not been up to snuff so far for the Commanders. If you're the Bears, get to Daniels in the pocket. I think, when a guy's a little bit hurt, maybe he can be a little bit skittish. Get to Daniels in the pocket, make him make mistakes. Take away the run game. This Commanders running offense is so good. The pass offense hasn't been there, so don't let them do what they're good at, and continue to find pass game success. I know that I said the Commanders' rush defense is worse than the pass defense, but the Bears have had some really good success in the passing game with new offensive coordinator. They're coming off a bye week. They still need to be able to pass the ball, find that pass success like they have many times this year, and they should be in good shape. I still think the Commanders win this game. As you can see, here's a summary of my picks. My locks this year are undefeated. My lock this week is Packers versus Bengals. And again, I'm not allowed to repeat teams with my locks. Give me the Packers over the Bengals. Bye weeks this week, keep in mind, are the Texans and Vikings, which is why we have 15 games instead of 16. And as always, all these picks should already be the ones I said. This is just the summary of the game times and who I picked. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Comment your feedback, comment your thoughts, comment your records, and don't forget to comment what I need to do to turn my juju around. Thank you for taking time out of your days, your weeks, your lives for listening. Please, please, please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe. It's a crazy world out there. Find a couch. A lot of great sports this week. Peace out.